After a brief hiatus, the Xbox Design Lab website has made its triumphant return. It was announced today on the Xbox Extended Show as well as the official Xbox Twitter. If you want to make your own, I will post a link in the description box below for you to check it out. While you're down there, consider hitting the subscribe button, because I greatly appreciate your support. I was a big fan of the Xbox Design Lab when it first came out years ago. It was a cool way to kind of make the controller your own in a fun way too. I mean, it had lots of different colors and grips and button types to find something that you liked. Although I never made one, I did gift them out as presents a few times, and everybody that I gave them to really seemed to appreciate them. They're not cheap though, but if you want something custom and you want something done right, you know you got to do it yourself. Now, until they release Elite controller support with these that will allow me to put paddles on the back of my controller, I'm not going to be very interested personally, because I still have my Elite Gen 1 and that's kind of my go-to. But I was hoping with the reform and the return of this whole thing, now with the new Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X controllers, maybe we would see that, but unfortunately, it's not meant to be. They did take a few things away, like rubberized grips and some of the metallic options, but they did add some different face buttons. So depending on what your preference is for a controller, you may be really, really happy right now or really, really sad. When you open up the Design Lab, and we're just going to take a quick look at the site together, you can select all these different features. You got your body, your back, your bumpers, your triggers, your D-pad, your thumbsticks, your face buttons, your view, menu, and share buttons, and then if you want to add a custom engraved option. And with the little preview panel over here, it's kind of nice. It updates in real time. So if we want to go ahead and change the body from, say, robot white to regal purple, we can. And you can see in real time, it has updated these images to give you a pretty good idea of what your controller is going to look like. Most of these, actually not most, all of these are just standard colors. So if you're looking for anything crazy like the camo or the metallic or the two-tone, unfortunately, you're not going to get that here. So keep that in mind. Similarly to the front, you can pick a different back plate if you want to go with a different two-tone piece on the back. Now, when I was younger, I used to take and swap out my back plate so that it was like an all-white controller with a black back plate, or vice versa. You could do something like that if you want, obviously, but not with this tool. It's not just the cover, it is the entire back. So they consider the back basically halfway down from the trigger all the way to the handle, and then all the way up to the bumpers across the top. So keep that in mind as you kind of design your own. Under the bumpers, they still have a pretty nice slew of colors here. As you notice, they're all the same though. I was hoping for a little bit more in terms of the color scheme. The fact that you can change the triggers from, oh, this is getting pretty bright, isn't it? The fact that you could change the triggers from the bumpers is actually kind of nice though. I think it gives it a very distinct appearance. I think back to the Elite controller, the collector controllers I have from, say, Sea of Thieves, where you had a gold trigger, and I believe PUBG's Elite controller, or collector edition controller, also had a distinct button as well. It would have been nice if you could individually toggle the bumpers to have different bumpers for, each of the four things. I don't understand why they don't allow that, because this is really just a plastic mold. It wouldn't be that hard for them to create this, but it is what it is. Keep in mind, it is somewhat limited in what you're going to do. So some of those really kind of exotic setups are unfortunately still going to be locked behind the Xbox, their limited edition controllers that they release, whether it be the new Gears controller or the new Halo controller or whatever's around the corner next. They're going to release all the really, really good stuff there. This is just to kind of get your foot in the door. You can still, as before, you could also change the D-pad. But again, note that it is just going to be the plastic D-pad. So I have a metallic replaceable D-pad on my Elite controller. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to remove this. It's going to be just a standard controller D-pad. In terms of the thumbsticks, same thing. There's no adjustment on the heights. This isn't like a scuff type of controller where you could adjust the height or the tension or the actual grip material. You're going to have to get thumb toppers for those. If you want to do that, you will be able to change the actual color, but again, it'll be both. It's not like you could have a separate left versus a separate right thumbstick. Face buttons is probably where they made the biggest change, I would say, and that is bringing back in the ultra bright, colorful buttons, which is a throwback to the Xbox 360, which had very bright face buttons. I do like that. They still do have a lot of the standard colors they had before, but now you can basically get the inverted. Instead of the colors on the black, you get black on the colors, which I think really, really pops pretty considerably, which is pretty nice as well. Same thing with the menu, view and share buttons. Interestingly enough, I'm not really sure why. Must be a bug on their website. This is the first time actually. Oh, I guess our website crashed, huh? I guess we broke it, guys. I was going to say the menu, the buttons weren't even changing the colors over there. Interesting. And lastly, you have is a engraving option for $10. You could put, oh, there we go. We're back. Let's see if the buttons work again now. There we go. A little bit of a hiccup there. You could change the buttons there. And then lastly, you can put some engraving if you want for $10. And you can include it there. I don't know if they have a high zoom in of that, but it's the traditional kind of font there. You do not get to select the color of the font, nor the size, nor the positioning. So if you wanted to pick a controller and you went through and you picked any of the colors you want, there's no upcharge on the colors. With the engraving, it's going to run you about $80 US. As I said, I've done this before for other friends. They absolutely love them. It's a really well thought out gift, especially when you put their handle on it or a nickname or something like that. Keep in mind, though, the customization is very limited. You are stuck with a very standard set of colors. You are stuck with the fact that you can't have any kind of like two-tone or crazy shading or distinct left or right triggers or left or right thumbsticks. Keep that in mind. There's no rubberized grip. There's no metallic anymore. I'm not dumping on it. It's cool. It's a cool idea. I like it. I just wanted more. And I think when they took the design lab offline last time, when they said, hey, we're going to go ahead and change up the design lab and we're going to go all out, and we'll be back in a while. We're going to have even cooler things at a later date to show you. I think everyone was really excited. And I know my mind started to wander thinking, wow, is this kind of the marriage between the Elite controller and the design website? Is this the marriage between like this and Scuff, essentially, where we're going to start to get different things? And the answer is no. It's a very limited set of colors and whatever, but it's better than nothing. And right now, they're the only show in town that does it. If you're a Nintendo fan or a PlayStation fan, too bad, so sad. You're going to have to go buy a custom controller elsewhere or paint it on your own. At least Xbox is going to give you a nice, clean finish that will look incredibly professional, and it'll be yours. So I will post a link to this site in the description box below. I believe, as I wrap up this video, there used to be a way where you could save your loadout and show others. I guess they got rid of that. There used to be a site that would let you kind of go through and preview other people's as kind of like an inspiration to see what worked best for you and then to make changes. But I guess I crashed the site. It just was announced. I suspect so many people are checking it out. But I don't think that feature does exist. If it does, leave a comment below with a link to it and I'll gladly post it. Thanks again for watching. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.